2, 1, go.
And she had a fast count, so I'm not sure about her honesty. But this is 385 pounds of engine and transmission that have to be carefully placed on the proper joint places. If you'll notice in the Model T, as opposed to most all other cars, there's a single pan that serves as the oil source for both the engine and transmission. There is no fuel pump, there is no oil pump, there is no water pump on a Model T. Henry felt that these were unnecessary, and it proved to be correct, because from 1909 to 1928, 27 I should say, 15,007,000 water pumpless, oil pumpless, gasoline pumpless Model Ts were built. The parts were interchangeable all those years. Henry started first producing cars in 1904 when he built what was then called the Model A, or the quadricycle. Some of you might have seen that. And then he went through 18 letters of the alphabet to build cars that would ultimately end up with the Model T. Why he never went beyond that, nobody really knows, and it isn't terribly important. But the May of 1927, 15,700,000 cars, 7,000 cars, ended the assembly line. 6 months later, the second Model A, which lasted for 4 years, came off the production line. The engine that you see is a 20 horsepower engine, which means we really can climb big mountains, and we can go 90 miles an hour if you drop the car out of an airplane. The fact is, people say almost every time there's a question, how fast will these cars go? Well, remember that in 1909, there were only 400 miles of paved roadways in the entire United States. Everything else was dirt. What happens to dirt when it rains? It gets muddy. And if you want to go on YouTube, if you want to go in encyclopedia and see what the roads were like in 1908, 1909, etc., you'll know that it was a wonder they could move at all. And that famous expression came about, get a horse, when Model Ts and other cars got stuck and they had to get a farmer to bring out a set of horses to pull them out of the mud. On the other hand, this Model T chassis is has such an uncanny ability to go up and down sideways on hills that where we see pictures of these cars go, none of us would take our Model Ts. It just wouldn't happen. They're putting together the U-joint now, which ironically is easy, but it's also a bit ticklish because it has to fit just so, and sometimes that stalls us. If you'll notice the chassis in this car, it consists basically of a 1926 model. The first cars came out in 1908, but they were called 1909s. The reason for that was simply that was considered production for 1909. How we doing, Lauren?
We're just over 3 minutes.
You see, I thought she was honest, guys. It's only been a minute and a half since you started. I don't know. I just thought better of you, Lauren. We'll see. So, we can't do this with the wooden wheel cars, which were standard wooden spokes, because you can't exchange the wheels since the bearings would have to come off where these have plug nuts. This car came out of men's garages, barns, closets, stockpiles. None of these parts met at the factory. We put this together some 46 years ago, and none of us who then were there are here today, but nevertheless we've been using this chassis ever since for fun. Dick, if you got a moment there, would you point to the pedals? Okay, Richard did that. There are 3 pedals that move a Model T. The outside pedal closest to Dick is the clutch halfway down, held all the way down on a band formation is the low speed. The handle that he's leaning up against right now is in a park lock position. Now it's in neutral, and if it's all the way forward, when it's properly hooked up, that's high speed. So it's a 2-speed transmission. The center pedal of the 3 is reverse. You push forward to go backwards. The pedal closer to the center of the car is the brake, and the brake actually stops a band. It squeezes a band on a drum, and the drum is actually hooked up to the crankshaft, so you're stalling the engine when you're trying to stop the car. This is what the original chassis looked like, and it didn't come out as a pickup truck when it came off the factory. It came off as a roadster. There's a 2-passenger roadster, and had what in the back was called a turtle deck. But Henry didn't think for years and years and years it was necessary to build anything but a sedan. And if you look at the 24 Roadster pickup that I'm driving over here on the lawn, you'll find a wooden pickup bed. That's because this metal pickup bed that the men are putting on right now only came out at the end of 1925 and was available 26, 27 from the factory. One of the favorite stories, of course, is you can have any color as long as it's not true. When you first came out, they didn't even have a black. They had red, gray, green, and blue. But by 1914, production had increased to such a degree that the paint wouldn't dry, they couldn't put the chassis together, so Henry sent his engineers on an international search for not only a paint that would dry fast, but also be cheaper to keep the price down. And he found a color called Japan Black, which is what was used solely from 1914 through 1925. So all those years, you could have any color you wanted as long as you accepted Henry Ford's black. Lauren?
6 minutes.
4 minutes, guys. You're doing real good. I tell you, I'm proud of you. You too, Juanita. We've actually had young ladies as young as 13, and one of our honorary members is 94, who isn't here today, but he's helped us even then. So we have a good variety of folks who work on the cars. The body styles were different. Let me go to the fuel pump. One of the problems the early Model Ts had was they had to live with, and Wally's going to show you where the original fuel tank was. The original fuel tank. Under the seat, the driver actually sits on the fuel tank. The fuel gauge is a wooden stick. It has markings on it that tell you how many gallons of fuel, up to 10 gallons, that you have. Why was that important? Here in Virginia, when we've gone on tours, and many of us have, there are hills that are 5-gallon hills, 6-gallon hills, 7-gallon hills, 8-gallon hills, and even on occasionally a 9-gallon hill. Which means that unless you have 9 gallons of gas in your tank, gravity feed dripping down to the carburetor isn't going to be enough, and you can't make the hill. This has happened to me on more than one occasion when somebody didn't warn us that we were going to be going up some steep, longer hills. So you end up having to watch my hand going up. You know it's going to stall, so you go sideways in the road, wait for the engine to equalize itself, and then back up the hill. Some people have said in the past that's because you have more power in first than you do in low, and it's not true at all. It's the same gear ratio. It's because you didn't have fuel. Rick, would you be kind enough to show them where Henry finally put the gas tank? There's the gas tank, and Wally's going to pick up the fuel tank and put some fuel in the current gas tank, which is in the cowl, which means now, from that point on, roughly 1925, you could have every ounce of fuel left that would go down to your carburetor because it was always above the carburetor, don't you see? As far as body style is concerned, they came out with lots and lots of brass when the first cars came out. Then later on, by 1915, the last parts and pieces of brass were used, and in 1917, every car that was produced was only black. By 1917, 1/2 the cars in the world were Model Ts. Lauren?
8 minutes and 30 seconds.
6 minutes, guys, not bad. Let's see if it works here, and if it starts, it's going to run right over you. There it goes!
8:40.
8 minutes and 40 seconds. Terrific. Step aside over here. Step aside over here. Step aside over here. That's it.